Hey everyone, it's Justin here, Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the show. Over 435 episodes, thanks to you. This is I guess a special edition show. Uh, all our shows are special and are meaningful. Uh, this one is that times 1,000. First, we're gonna have a little bit of a chat, uh, and then try to do something a little special to pay homage. Uh, so this this past Friday, the Olympics kicked off. Yeah, opening ceremonies and really spectacular in Italy, Milano, Cortina. Sorry about that. And Sunday was the American football Super Bowl. And we had the competition halftime shows, that shows Turning Point USA. Uh, Halftime show really rocked it, brought in a heck of an audience. Um, and then kind of sandwiched in between was Saturday in not just a pop culture moment, but a life moment. And that is so I believe it was 9 months ago, around there. So I think it was, yeah, it was in May or so. Um, but last year in 2025, uh, Creed had just finished up kind of like their reunion, like a reunion tour. And the other band, other headliner, Three Doors Down, went with them all across the country. I was thinking about going to the show. They were coming locally, well, as local as could be. Uh, I just wasn't able to do it. It's not even about the ticket prices, so I'm not going to get into that. Uh, and so the tour ended, and shortly after that, Creed announced kind of, like kind of an extension of the reunion tour, and they'll be bringing Three Doors Down with them again. And and so it was sometime again, I think it was in May of 2025 that there was a social media video message from Brad Arnold, the founder, which I guess he started on drums. I didn't even know about that. Uh, but he founded the rock band Three Doors Down, and Creed was gonna bring Three Doors Down with them again to hit some more dates. Uh, I remember Three Doors Down. Oh man, this was early 2000s. I was at school at Youngstown State University, and there were certain bands. They were doing kind of like the college circuit, where you're in college, you're doing your thing, and then different bands would come to the university. And our university, we had one that I know of that I can remember. Remember so vividly, uh, and that is three doors down. They came to Youngstown State University and played. I mean, it was great. They were in the gymnasium, and it was just so cool. It's, again, just to watch and listen, and as much music has meant to me over the course of my lifetime, in times where I've known I've needed it, and other times, and then go, oh wow, I didn't realize this impact that this particular band, this particular show had on me. So fast forward, so right, so that's the early 2000s, uh, and so Three Doors Down just got done touring with Creed. Creed had announced that they were going to be doing some more dates coming up, and Three Doors Down was going to come with them again. Uh, and Creed was another band that I listened to. Uh, I, I I hadn't had a chance to see them live before. But anyway, so shortly after that announcement of the new shows came, there was a social media video message from Brad Arnold, the founder of Three Doors Down, and the front man, so vocals and all that. And it looked like he was just sitting on maybe a park bench, and he said um, he had some news to share. It wasn't very good news. A couple weeks before this video that he put together, um, that he had went to the doctor or the ER, and through the different tests that they ran, uh, were able to find that he had stage 4 kidney cancer. And I don't know if it had spread to his lung, if he knew that at that time, or if it was a little later, and that he and the rest of the Three Doors Down band, they were gonna have to pull out of out of those shows, those new shows that were just announced recently, and that he was gonna undergo treatment, and he wasn't afraid. He's been a big believer of Jesus Christ, and by seeing the outpouring of messages, he wasn't just doing it for show. He was helping people, one of the kindest people, to everybody from the members in the band all the way down to volunteers. He just was just so grateful for basically everybody that he came in contact with. Uh, and so on this past Saturday, sandwiched again in between the opening ceremonies of the Olympics and the American football Super Bowl on Sunday, which those are all important things. But when it comes down to it, to the purest level of being a human being, right? Like we're born, we live, and then we pass away with the hope that we're gonna be on our way to heaven and we're gonna see all the friends and family and others that have passed along the way. And so on Saturday, there was the announcement from the band's website that Brad, the lead singer, Three Doors Down, that he passed away in his sleep due to the cancer. And so an outpouring started immediately on social media about all the people that Brad had helped, and he was, kind of the quintessential human, that titles didn't matter. Everybody again, from a roadie, somebody, handed him microphone to get the show started. Uh, Everybody, just like anybody can think of, that he was just that carrying that kind of a person. And so it's hard for, I mean, so no doubt sending an embracement, the hugs and prayers to his wife, his family, his dog. Um, Saw pictures over the last several months with him and his dog. One was at the beach, and then there's a picture circulating. Looks like he was at home, and it was him and his wife and his dog. And so when we think of all the things that go on in life, what's really important? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it, I don't know, cars, yachts, airplanes? Just get a whole new perspective on things when somebody, passes away. I don't have any direct connection to Three Doors Down or Brad and his wife and other bandmates, and I'm just talking as a human being who, it was just over a year after my dad had passed away, after learning he had stage 4 cancer, and they were able to treat it, but they weren't able to cure it. Went through all the visits, all the well checks, all everything. Did everything. And I hear people talk about, like, well, did they get physicals? Did they get blood work? Did they get all of these things? Well, my dad did. And then he shows up at the hospital and boom, stage 4 cancer. Sorry, it's already stage 4, and even this point last year, we probably still wouldn't have been able to track it to know that it was there. And so that part makes me so mad, so upset. I don't know what it's linked to. There's a lot of things in this world that I don't understand. I don't know if it was the COVID supposed whatever, the shot. I mean, it didn't stop people from dying. It's not a vaccine. Vaccine lowers or darn near takes the chance of getting whatever the vaccine is to down as close to zero as possible. And so I'm upset that my dad didn't have a chance. He didn't have stage 1. He didn't find out he had stage 1. Again, he did all his well visits. He did everything he was asked to do. That you hear from doctors to, these experts on TV and wherever, they radio talking about, well, you should do this and you need to do that. Um, like, okay. So he did. He had smoked earlier in his life, but there were so many years since he had that his lungs were at the same level as a non-smoker. And so I don't know what it was. I don't it just makes me so mad because my dad, and he didn't have a chance, and he did everything again humanly possible. And then he shows up not feeling well. Now stage 4, sorry. Um Basically have a year, maybe a year and a half left to live. And you might ask, well, what's this have to do with, Brad Arnold and Three Doors Down? And that has a lot to do. I don't know Brad. Didn't know Brad. Didn't know. Again, I don't have any direct connection. I'd imagine being a a band member, a touring band member, that he probably had his fair share of wellness visits and that too. And so when he didn't feel well, I don't know what the symptoms were. I don't need to know. But for him to show up at the hospital and then to find out, okay, Brad, you have stage 4 cancer. And I can only imagine the feeling he and his wife had. Like, what do you mean stage 4? Like, what about stage 1, 2, and 3? Oh, sorry. Um, it's stage 4. And so this works me up and gets me upset with Brad's situation and what he had to go through. And he did everything and treatment wise and again, find out very first time that you have, it's not like, oh, okay, you have the flu. or you have a cold, so it'll take a couple weeks to run its course. Take this Z pack or whatever, or don't take anything. Just rest. I don't know. But my heart just aches because of how similar these situations are for Brad from Three Doors Down and my dad. Of things are fine, or as close to fine as could be. I mean, luckily my dad was in his 70s. So me and my family, we got to spend close to 30 more years with my dad than Brad's wife and his loved ones. And then the other reason why I want to bring this up is he was 47. 47 freaking years old. I'm 44. When we talk on the show about being grateful, for being here and like we truly mean it because too often our fellow humans are being taken from us so soon. And this is why it bothers me is was it the COVID supposed vaccine? That they call these turbo cancers? Like, if you have a turbo car, it goes, faster than the non-turbo car. It's like if you have cancer, you have a turbo cancer that goes much faster. People die from cancer. People die from heart attacks. Those things don't change. But the opportunity to treat, cure, have more time to live. I mean, maybe I'm just coming in now that I'm 44. Maybe I'm just now starting to, maybe the last couple of years I've just started to come into my own to uh understand these things a little bit more and and really have these feelings. I don't know, but it makes me so sad because of my dad. It makes me so sad because of Brad. That didn't have to happen this way. Should have had an opportunity to live, to have treatment. And then we have these pharmaceutical companies. And I can only imagine if Brad had it some form of chemotherapy or others. Well, guess what? That pharmaceutical company that, they got their money. They got their money for the chemo. They're still alive. Brad's not alive. My dad's not alive. And with Brad being 47 years old, that's just 3 years older than me. And so I have a little bit of a feeling like no matter what I do, no matter what vitamins, no matter what visits I have, is it going to make a difference? because the same COVID shot that my dad got, that Brad got, if he got it, I'm not sure if he did, but if he got it, is high likelihood. It's one out of two. I think there are two choices that you could get. And that I got because it's like, well, you got to get it, you got to get it because you can't go eat, you can't do anything if you don't get you don't get these. They're not vaccines. They're not vaccines. Fauci, Fauci, you should be locked up for the gain of function research that you had going on. Again, I don't know if all this is connected, but what I do know is the Fauci had this gain of function research out of this lab in Wuhan, and that's where the first cases that they tried to hide, where their workers were getting sick at that lab in Wuhan. And Fauci could have just stood up, been a man, and talked about, it, but no. So this is why we're doing an episode on it because then this affects not only the mental health of the individual, like Brad and my dad, it affects the mental health of our families and his family and extended. Because like, oh my gosh, what if I don't do this? What if I do this? Will this give me the best opportunity? And so that's probably not probably it is one of the big reasons why I put my head down and we're making stuff happen with Voices for Voices. I don't know how much longer I have left on Earth. Nobody knows how much longer we have left on Earth. So I'm not going to sit around, be complacent. I'm going to do as much as I can, and I'm going to share as much as I can. I'm going to talk about as much as I can, whether it's, again, light topics, heavy topics, but we're going to talk about it. And that's what we're going to do and what we have been doing. And if you don't like it, turn the channel. I'm not going to like, explain myself and to somebody that wants to act so noble and so all I am is a human being sharing my experiences, my events, and those of guests that come on our show. That's what we're here for. So what I'm going to attempt to do, I don't know how well it's going to go because I'm not a I'm not a singer. I mean, I like to play guitar. It's one of my hobbies. But the one song that when it came out, when it came out in 2022, again, it's called Away from the Sun. So I'm gonna attempt to sing. It's mostly gonna be me reading the lyrics, uh, but it's to pay a little bit of a homage to Brad, all three doors down, people everywhere. And so it goes a little bit like this. It's called Away from the Sun. Credit to Three Doors Down in memory of Brad Arnold and anybody and everybody who has lost somebody dear in their lives. It's down to this. I've got to make this life make sense. Can anyone tell what I've done? I miss the life. I miss the colors of the world. Can anyone tell where I am? 'Cause now again I found myself so far down, away from the sun that shines into the darkest place. I'm so far down, away from the sun again, away from the sun again. I'm over this. I'm tired of living in the dark. Can anyone see me down here? The feeling's gone. There's nothing left to lift me up back into the world I know. 'Cause now again I found myself so far down, away from the sun that shines into the darkest place. I'm so far down, away from the sun that shines to light the way for me to find my way back into the arms that care about the ones like me. I'm so far down, away from the sun again. Oh no, yeah, oh no. It's down to this. I've got to make this life make sense. And now I can't tell what I've done. And now again I found myself so far down, away from the sun that shines to light the way for me. 'Cause now again I found myself so far down, away from the sun that shines into the darkest place. I'm so far down, away from the sun that shines to light the way for me, to find my way back into the arms that care about the ones like me. I'm so far down, away from the sun again. Oh no, yeah, I'm gone. Rest in peace, Brad Arnold, Dad, and anybody who has lost anybody. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. This is Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you so much. We'll see you on a future episode. Bye for now.